Kathy, thank you so much for inviting me to come to your room today and hear about what you're doing with informational text. I really appreciate it. Love being in your second grade room. So, as you know, the Michigan standards are now expecting 50% of everything that children read in the elementary grades to be informational text. And for a lot of us in Michigan, this is a massive change. So what do you do to get your elementary school, your second graders, reading 50% informational text?
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And yeah, I have a lot of things that I've really improved with informational text, and I want to show you right over here how we start.
Great.
Well, the most important thing is to get informational text out and available to the students.
Absolutely.
And so here I've put together a display of informational text. I've tried to spread them out and make sure that the covers are seen by the students. I've tried to make sure that there are a lot of different topics that the students can read on: animals, weather, countries. And so they have a lot of different choice and different reading levels as well.
Yes, I can see the variety there. That's great.
And so that's, making it available. Students have that they can get throughout the day.
That's great. I mean, to me, this is very appealing, and I see those front covers, and I know from research that attracts kids, the variety of topics, the variety of levels. It's great. May I ask what that is right there?
Well, these right here are, I'm using QR codes to deliver information in the classroom. We talked about Black History Month and famous African Americans, and I wanted to take that beyond February. And so I came up with a way and using a QR code. And I just paste a picture and a name. And the students use iPads that are available to us to scan the QR code. It's a free app that you can have on the iPads. And then once you scan it, up comes informational sentences about what that person is famous for. The website is a QR code generator, and it's free, very easy to use once you play with it. And basically you just type out sentences and it spits out a code. And so the students really enjoy it. It's out of your seats. It's on their own. They're exploring. They don't have an order to figure out which ones they are. And so they enjoy it, and now they're asking me to create them. They want to create them. And that
for themselves.
Right. They can use it, and it can be used in any subject area. You could do scavenger hunts, but the kids can design it. It's that easy to use.
That's a really creative way of getting more informational text exposure. I love it. What else do you do?
Well, over here, I want to take you over here and show you some of my leveled readers.
Great.
Okay, and over here I have leveled readers that the students use in the class. And I try to mix in a lot of informational text choices.
Yep, I see.
And so I have, some thunder and lightning, bats, dolphins. So at each level, when students are going and choosing a book, informational text is available to them.
Great, great.
And then over here I have my read aloud carpet time. And I like to mix in informational text, and it's severe weather week, so we've got tornadoes. And the anniversary of the Titanic sinking is tomorrow, and they just are really into the Titanic. Along with my read alouds on the carpet, I make sure that I have some additional informational text available to the students on the shelf that we saw, because we know we need to read more than one book on a topic. So then that's available. And honestly, when I read a book on tornadoes, all the weather books are missing from the shelf. If I read the Titanic, then that's what they want.
You're generating interest. It's great. It's great.
And so then as I'm reading, I'm taking the kids through and teaching them how to read an informational text.
That's great. I was going to ask you that very question. We know that the exposure and the experience is important, but we also know that for a lot of kids it's not enough. So how do you teach informational reading and writing with the kids? I
do it in two parts. A whole group can be on the carpet when I'm reading something like this, and then small group guided reading. But for whole group, I can choose harder text. This one's 6.4.
Okay, yeah.
And so then it works really well because you get a lot of vocabulary that none of the children know. And so it's talking them through the strategies. What do we do when we come to a word we don't know? We can reread and other strategies. Also taking students through diagrams, captions, and how we read charts, graphs. And then, talking them through that as I'm reading it to them, modeling.
Sounds great. And addressing a lot of second grade standards in that.
Yes, trying to. And then over here at my guided reading table, I continue on with small group informational reading. We had a fictional story that we were working on about 3 mice friends and going on an adventure.
Okay.
And so this is a companion informational
Great.
text that goes with it, talking about an adventure, and it's informational. And so then sitting here, small group, you can talk about glossaries and indexes, table of contents, all of those text features from informational books that they need to know and understand. Bold print, all of those important characteristics. Then in the classroom also has a subscription to Scholastic News.
Oh, good.
And, you know, social studies, science, a lot of really good information.
So Kathy, you've already referred to a lot of science and social studies content just in the conversation that we've had, but I'm wondering if you could talk specifically about your content area, your science and social studies instruction. What role does informational text play in that part of your curriculum?
Well, we just finished a science research project, and we obviously had to read informational text for the students to understand about an animal that they chose to research and about how they needed to choose 2 or more resources to cite in their report, because we need to, and explaining to them and understanding why you need to read from just more than one source to have accurate make sure your information is accurate.
Great.
So students created posters and to display their work, and then we take it a little further, add in some technology. They do PowerPoints with their information again, but then, you know, you're citing your resources again in those PowerPoints. They hear it again.
Great.
And a presentation to families.
And I noticed you have maps on these, so you've actually worked in some social studies, geography as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
We try to get everything in to a project that we can add to it.
That's great.
So
and do
that
you
was
have
science.
plans for future projects, or we have a little time left in the school year? What do you plan to do next?
So this project is almost complete. We still have some time left in the school year, and I started thinking, okay, now what can I do for social studies? And I started thinking about, my school has a lot of families that move in and out constantly throughout the year, and it's a problem that parents get confused. We have a school-based health center.
Great.
Students can access it from the building, but families cannot. They have to take side roads and go around to the back of the school.
Okay.
And it can get confusing. And so I thought, wow, maybe our classroom could create a map of the school and routes to get to the entrance of the health center so that families could understand it. Tie in writing, maybe some other informational things families might need to know moving in.
Great.
And then the hope is to finish it this year so that they can be in the office for those families registering this summer that might be brand new.
Love it. Yeah. I mean, I hear in what you're describing things I'm always looking for in terms of there's a real audience. It's not just you reading what the children have written, but it's all of these families in their community. There's a real purpose. You see a problem in your community, and your students who are second graders are going to help you solve it. So I just love to see that. And at the same time, I can recognize that you're working in a lot of the specific standards in literacy and also in social studies that they need to meet. So sounds great.
It's ridiculous to try to do one project for one standard. So it's when you do a project of this magnitude, you try to look into the other content areas and see what else can I bring in.
Yes.
Like with the science,
Yes.
I can bring a map in to show where these animals live, and then I can tie that into social studies. And so whenever these projects come up, that's the thought. What else can I grab to make this work?
It's great. Thank you so much for taking the time to show me around and tell me what you've been doing around informational text. And I'm sure the teachers watching this will be inspired by all the great work that you're doing in this area. So thanks so much, Kathy.
Thank you very much.